Welcome back. You're watching Republic TV and the special coverage. In the last 1 hour, Shravan, Abhishek, Rhythm and myself have been getting you the investigation. The 10 exclusive angles that unravel the conspiracy into the Delhi 10-11 blast. And all of this, Abhishek, all of this boils down to one aspect, which is it was a Jaish-e-Mohammed module that operated. Yeah. Jaish-e-Mohammed is operating from Pakistan. Yeah. It effectively makes it a Pakistan plotted attack on Indian soil. Yes. Why is that an act of war, Abhishek? And by the way, just on the sidelines, right? While we talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, we here at Republic TV have dropped the election coverage today. We have decided that this is of national importance, and for us, it's always been nation first, elections later, and that is why we are focusing on the Delhi 10-11 conspiracy. And we are doing the right thing, Abhishek. I think people are talking about Purnia, Muslim vote, Yadav vote. We want to talk about national unity and national interest.
Abhishek, Shravan, that people are watching Republic TV.
Right, absolutely. And coming back to this conversation about Jaish, Niranjan, you said whether it's an act of terror and hence an act of war and done by Pakistan. Obviously it is. And I said that. But the point is that when you have, as a policy, decided that every act of terror would be responded to as if it's an act of war, yes, you need to tell the world, look, here's the evidence. Yes. And it needs to be foolproof. In Pahalgam, it was for everyone to see. Now, the difference is, and that's diabolical, the difference is those were Pakistani terrorists, Pakistani nationals, yes, in Pahalgam. Yes. But here, these are Indian nationals, right? And so obviously, while the national security agencies are at it, and we have already shown some of the sliver of evidence that they have collected, yes, and is for there to be seen. When we make a statement to the world or when we respond, it has to be backed by full evidence. I think that process is taking a bit of time, and whenever it's done, you will hear a statement coming in either from the Home Minister or maybe from the Foreign Secretary, whoever in the government decides.
I also think it's really sinister, Shravan, Dr. Shahina's role now as the head of the JEM Women's Wing.
Well, in fact, the fact of the matter is this, Abhishek, that there is evidence. The evidence that Pakistan will certainly deny, because this is the non-deniability factor that Pakistan has been working for. Yeah. In the month of October itself, this actually started, and that is the reason why there was a lot of chatter within the intelligence agencies that this is what they were basically planning. On 25th of October, when the first audio tape was basically released, or when the intelligence agencies got their hands on the speech that was delivered by Masood Azhar, where he was basically addressing that it's going to be a women brigade, and that is going to be led by none other than Masood Azhar's own sister. And the plan was basically this, that first you basically tap family members of Kashmiris in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So that it becomes a reason why they can basically interact, and they are also looking at those who are vulnerable. The very fact that they've identified this and they've managed to actually get hold of the white-collar professionals is only because they want to put India on a spot, because they know it very well. By doing this, by being able to get the Kashmiris to do this act of terror, India is going to find it difficult in terms of what exactly is going to be the response. But let me also be very clear here. There is clarity that's emerging. And in fact, as far as evidence is concerned, that is also there.
In fact, like Shravan, you're saying, investigators have now traced the direct links that are there to Pakistan's group Jaish-e-Mohammed. Sources say Umar Mohammed, the doctor associated with the Faridabad module of Jaish, panicked after the group's bust and fled to Delhi using the same car later involved in the Delhi blast. Meanwhile, the other accused, Dr. Shahina, has been identified as the head of Jaish's women wing, like Shravan was telling us, working under Masood Azhar's sister, Sadia Azhar. Look at that report.
बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट हुआ है के सामने अभी 1 मिनट पहले.
The blast near Red Fort in Delhi that killed 12 people and injured nearly 20 others now has a direct link to Pak terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed.
एक गाड़ी के अंदर बम था, बहुत भयंकर बम ब्लास्ट हुआ है. चल 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 चल
Delhi Police's initial investigations reveal Umar Mohammed, a doctor by profession and part of the Jaish module, busted in Faridabad when rogue after learning his aide's arrests. Sources also say that a panic struck the group when police raids began in Faridabad. Umar, fearing arrest, fled to Delhi in the very car later used in the Red Fort blast. The probe indicates the suspect's motive, as he planned the suicide attack as soon as he learned that the Faridabad module has been busted. Intelligence inputs further revealed that Dr. Shaheen, arrested from Faridabad, was not just a member, but head of Jaish's women's recruitment wing. Operating under Jamaat-ul-Mominat, the women's unit was being directed by Sadia Azhar, sister of Jaish Mohammed Chief Masood Azhar, across the border in Pakistan. With multiple arrests and cross-border links surfacing, the case moves further, with NIA and Delhi police are investigating if there are any further terror links emerging in connection with the blast.
Successfully in the last 3 to 4 days, Shravan and Abhishek, in rhythm, terror modules have been busted, not just in Faridabad, even in Saharanpur. Of course, the links are emerging, the dots are being connected, and also in Gujarat, a very, very dangerous module. And at the heart of it was this man. He's a terror doctor as well. Look at the irony, right? Terror doctor, Dr. Syed, from Hyderabad, went to China, studied medicine, came back, was in Gujarat, wrecking terror targets. Among the 3 terror targets that they had wrecked, Shravan, one of them was the UP RSS office headquarters. Second was the Delhi Mandi, Sabzi Mandi, right? And the third was the Ahmedabad fruit market, Naroda fruit market. And they were developing a chemical to unleash mayhem. And that is called the Ricin Terror Module. Ricin chemical being made, developed by these 3 to unleash terror. Shravan, if you can talk about that, and then we'll get Abhishek to get us the latest.
A quick point as far as why this is extremely lethal. It can contaminate water. Pipelines could have been contaminated, and that could actually wipe off, literally wipe off scores of people. And Abhishek, if I can just bring you in quickly, one of the reasons why they were essentially, the Gujarat ATS was basically pointing out that this also has an international link that's coming in. Yeah. And something, Niranjan and Rhythm, actually caught the attention of people in the West. They were hugely discussing that this can be possible, and that's exactly what the Gujarat ATS was pointing out too.
100%. And imagine ricin, this poison, like milligrams, micrograms, and no odor, no taste, and you're gone. And he was producing it or trying to produce it at an industrial scale. And also in this case, as in the case of Faridabad module, the linkage is going back to Pakistan, because his handler, Abu Khadija, is a man in Pakistan. And he had handlers in Afghanistan also, the Islamic State. Remember what Afghanistan, the Taliban regime has said, that the Islamic State is being hoisted and foisted by the Pakistani deep state now. So I think the linkages via Afghanistan going into Pakistan and Gujarat case also, and that's the package about.
Let's take a look at the package.
A suicide bombing shook the heart of the national capital on Monday evening, leaving behind 8 dead and many more injured. Early probe has established the role of Dr. Umar Nabi as the suicide bomber who carried out the Red Fort blast in his I-20 car. Now, a clear linkage has emerged of Dr. Umar with the Faridabad terror bust on Monday morning and the massive anti-terror crackdown that was being carried out across Jammu and Kashmir through Monday. Umar was part of the same group helmed by Dr. Muzammil that was plotting a major terror attack, for which they had gathered 3 tons of explosives and other bomb-making materials. The police arrested Dr. Muzammil's girlfriend Dr. Shaheen early on Tuesday morning, taking the total arrests in the Faridabad terror conspiracy to 7. That includes 4 doctors, 3 of which are from the Kashmir Valley. The blast probe has since spread to multiple states. Uttar Pradesh, where Al-Qaeda terrorist Bilal Khan was grilled by the ATS under custody, revealing deadly radicalization game. Haryana, where doctors Muzammil, Adil and Shaheen had collected all the ammunition and were on the verge of carrying out a major terror attack. Jammu and Kashmir, where the Faridabad module doctors came from. Gujarat, where Dr. Ahmed was making deadly ricin at a makeshift factory to carry out a biochemical attack with mass poisoning. And even Telangana, as Dr. Ahmed is a resident of Hyderabad. While the arrested accused are from UP, Kashmir, Delhi and Telangana, there's a clear common linkage through these individual cases. Educated white-collar terror converts, all kingpins are doctors. And highly radicalized Islamists despite their education. While a very big terror tragedy was averted with the crackdown,
हम सभी संभावनाओं को तराश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे।
the fact that the anti-national forces could put in place a multi-city, multi-state network of many independent modules makes one thing clear. There is a common conspirator, handler and director of these terrorists. Would the security agencies unravel the larger terror plot soon?
All right, Niranjan, Shravan, and Rhythm, of course, we have been for the last hour and more bringing to our viewers every aspect of the conspiracy, every detail we have gathered, our reporters have gathered, and our teams have brought to us from the ground, from Kashmir to Uttar Pradesh to Haryana to Delhi and Ahmedabad in Gujarat. I think one thing is very clear, that while the blast did take place and we did lose some lives, a major terror tragedy has been successfully averted because the scale of preparation was huge. Now, what the security agencies have to see is that they do not let go of this chance. Be very meticulous with the evidence gathering, and like with early success that they have achieved in terms of picking up from the scene of crime as it is now outside the Red Fort, the connections of the ammonium nitrate between the blast site and Faridabad. Yes. They go ahead, get every detail, for example, the phone call records between these conspirators, unmasked now, and make sure that the world knows the true face of terror operating out of Pakistan.
True. And I want to ask this to you, Shravan, Niranjan. Shravan, to you, what are the steps ahead that the agencies are going to take?
Well, in fact, first would be the forensic reports to really come in. While there has been a preliminary assessment about ammonium nitrate being used, they are also looking at other elements that have basically been used to carry out this entire attack. Second, of course, is the DNA sampling. That is to basically conclusively prove that this is Dr. Umar Nabi who carried out the suicide bombing. The third and the most crucial aspect is basically part of who's part of this entire module. Is it over? Or there are more people, because it's very clear that there are handlers of this entire
Sure,
module.
absolutely.
So that is the crucial angle right now. Niranjan.
Well, eventually, I think it all boils down to, as we come towards the end of the show of the 10/11 conspiracy, it all boils down to this. There is a link between the Delhi blast and the Faridabad terror module that is busted, and the link is conclusive, as Shravan, Rhythm, Abhishek have been suggesting. It is now all about just nailing Pakistan. Faridabad, Delhi blast link. Take a look. A powerful explosion near Delhi's Red Fort shook the capital last evening, killing at least 10, injuring 20 others. The attack, carried out using a white Hyundai i20, has now been traced to Faridabad in Haryana, revealing chilling links to a Jaish-e-Mohammed-backed terror module that was operating from Faridabad's Al-Falah University. Investigation shows the car was driven by Dr. Umar Nabi, a Pulwama-based doctor associated with the Faridabad module, busted just hours before the blast. CCTV footage captured Umar driving the I-20 across Delhi from Badarpur to Okhla to Kashmiri Gate before he detonated it near gate number 1 of the Red Fort metro station.
Now the time stamp is also very important. The investigators are considering because mostly because of the location that is outside the Red Fort gate number 1. The location is usually, it opens to a very busy road because just few meters away there's Chandni Chowk market entrance, and this has been the same entrance for years now. And the cars are usually stationary there, right, parked right outside the gate number 1. So this car itself was also parked in the parking lot, and it moved out from there at around 6:48 and was slowly moving towards the red light just around 200-250 meters away, and moments later, just a few minutes later, at 6:52 there was a loud blast from the Hyundai i10 and which again resulted, we know that resulted into several cars which were near it catching a fire.
Police have tracked the car's history through a chain of 6 owners, from Gurugram to Ambala to Pulwama. But the registration remained under one name, Mohammad Salman, detained on Monday evening. From Salman, the car went to Devinder in Okhla, then to Amir in Pulwama, and finally was handed to Umar Nabi, who used it for the suicide attack. Umar was part of the Jaish module in Faridabad, led by Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Shaheen, both working under Pakistan-based handler Sadia Azhar, sister of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar. During raids on 2 Faridabad buildings, police have seized 3 tons of explosives, ammonium nitrate, 2 AK-47 rifles, large quantities of ammunition. And as those raids began, Umar Nabi escaped, taking the car to Delhi, reaching Red Fort. He waited almost 11 hours before he exited the Red Fort parking. 3 minutes later, the car exploded.
The linkages between Adil and Muzammil and Shahina and Umar, and the fact that they were working together for a while to fructify the terror designs of our neighbor and Jaish-e-Mohammed, and through Jaish-e-Mohammed of the Pakistani deep state and the ISI, ultimately it will come down to that.
With the ammonium nitrate samples from the blast site matching the Faridabad hall, the link from Faridabad to Red Fort blast becomes extremely clear. Okay, so we're getting in some breaking news as we come to the end of the show. We have our correspondents across India who've been tracking the story, especially along Delhi NCR, where all the action is on the Delhi 10-11 blast. There is a movement. DNA samples are being collected. Shravan has more details.
Well, in fact, Zeenat, our colleague, getting us the latest details that the DNA sampling, the process of the DNA sampling is now over. They've collected the samples from the family members of Dr. Umar earlier today. Let me just quickly bring in Zeenat, who's joining us. Zeenat, what more details are you picking up? This morning, the family members spoke saying that they were told about Umar.
As far as the DNA sampling and the procedure was there, that was conducted at the police control room, Kashmir, in presence of SSP Srinagar. Actually, he is the one who has been breaking all the details, and he busted the module from the Parimpura police station to Nogam station of the police in Srinagar. And today, the 4 samples were collected. Mother, father, and the 2 brothers of Dr. Umar. Samples have been collected, and the procedure.
Okay, I think we have a bad audio with you there, Zeenat. Poor audio, we'll fix that. Poor audio, we'll fix that. DNA sample process of Umar's family. Umar Nabi, who was at the wheel. That's Umar's family. That's we'll just change the picture. Rakshita is also joining us live. Rakshita, we saw the forensics come there, the NIA which has taken over the investigation, trying to go beyond the perimeter, and obviously they had to because the impact of the blast was such that a lot of evidence would have flown hundreds of meters away, maybe. Now, we saw that they were trying to do that today, but a bit late, given that, you know, the media and everybody was there. What did you see? What did you see? What are the big takeaways for you as you reported from the blast site today?
Well, they have been at work since morning, since early morning, and in fact, all the areas, right from this gate number 1, that is right now completely sealed. Nothing is visible. We are not allowed to go beyond that. That's gate number 1 of the Red Fort metro station. That was the exact spot of the blast, and that is where the evidence has been collected from. But not just that. If you go beyond this entire stretch, in fact, has been examined by the FSL team, and evidence has been collected. And not just this road, this Digambar Jain Lal temple also had many pieces of some car, some mangled remains of the car were also some broken pieces were found here. A head was also found here. There were the gory images that we cannot show. There was a head, and there was part of a shoulder on the terrace also that was found. So all that has been collected as the sample. Not even if you see behind that, right ahead of this entire stretch of Netaji Subhash Marg, this entire drain-like structure, if you see on the right side beyond the railing, also there have been some a car steering part that has also been recovered, a horn that has been recovered. It was a Hyundai vehicle. We do not know if it was the same one or not, but right in front of our eyes, all those samples were taken across this road as well. And now, as we understand that not just the explosives sample, but also the body, the remains are being examined. And Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has asked for the report as soon as possible so that it can be ascertained. And one thing is clear, that ammonium nitrate was part of the explosive that was used. That also established the link with the Faridabad module.
Get an update from Al Falah University, because this afternoon 6 people were detained. One happens to be the HR of the university itself. My colleague Sobia is there at the university. What more details are you picking up in terms of the investigation that has been carried out so far, Soumya?
University is concerned, it is under scanner. In fact, it is at the hem of this 10-11 conspiracy, because it harbored the 3 main faces as far as the Faridabad terror module is concerned, or for that matter, the 10-11 blast is concerned, right from Muzammil Shakil, from where the explosives and huge cache of arms and ammunitions were recovered from his rented place, to the lady terror, Dr. Shahina, from whose Swift Desire AK-47 was discovered, who also happens to have an association with Jaish-e-Mohammed's newly opened women wing. And now on third number we had Umar Nabi, who is the prime suspect in the Delhi blast case, who the Delhi police is suspecting could be behind the wheels. So the post the blast, now as far as Al Falah University and investigation within the premises of the university is concerned, we had over hundreds of police officials scanning and combing through the university and detaining 7 people after an investigation which ran for several hours and began at 7 a.m. early this morning. Back to you.
In fact, we have reporters also left. Let's also go across to Gaurav, who's now joining us from Saharanpur. But also, we also have Swarali joining us from Ahmedabad. Abhishek, you had questions on that to Swarali also?
Well, Swarali, you would have been talking to the Gujarat ATS sources. Are you getting a sense that in the case of the Ahmedabad or Gandhinagar module also, the linkages are going back to Pakistan, maybe via Afghanistan, the Islamic State?
See, till now, whatever information we are gathering from on ground, and as we are talking to Gujarat ATS, they have denied links to all the other modules in Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, or Jammu and Kashmir. But we cannot forget that yesterday, when the investigation was going on, they had said that link cannot be denied. The investigation is in process, because all 3 terrorists who were arrested from Ahmedabad in Gujarat, it is very important that Dr. Syed, Azad and Suhail, now, both the others who belong to Uttar Pradesh had done Reiki of Delhi, Ahmedabad, Lucknow and Jammu and Kashmir. So, totally the link cannot be denied. Again, on the other hand, the handler, it says in Afghanistan-Pakistan border, Abu Khadija, and huge fund was about to be coming on the way of Ahmedabad module. On the other hand, a very lethal weapon was going to be unleashed, in a sense that Ricin, which is a very potent toxin, was supposed to be made and all the raw material was gathered. The Republic is constantly tracking this story minutely, but the link cannot be denied. Investigation is on way. As soon as we get any information on
We'll
link,
come
we
back
are,
to you as we get more information, Swarali. I also want to go across to Gaurav joining us from Saharanpur. Gaurav, Dr. Adil was in Saharanpur. We got details about what he was doing here. The AK-47 was found in his locker. और क्या क्या आपको डिटेल्स आज पता चली हैं? बिकॉज बहुत डिटेल्स आज आई हैं सहारनपुर से डॉक्टर आदिल को लेके।
जी बिल्कुल, जैसे मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा, सबसे पहले विब्रोस हॉस्पिटल में काम करते थे। कम से कम 6 महीने उन्होंने वहाँ पे काम किया है। वहाँ पे काम करने के बाद मार्च के महीने वहाँ से थे, इसके बाद के महीने वहाँ से थे, इसके बाद वे अपना फेमस मेडिकल में उन्होंने ज्वाइन किया था। 6 महीने के करीब उन्होंने वहाँ पे काम किया है। अचानक ही जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस उनके घर पर आती है। घर पे आने के बाद उन्हें अरेस्ट करके ले जाती है। सबसे बड़ा सवाल ये है कि जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस जब उनको अरेस्ट करके ले जाती है, तो बाकी जो खुफिया जांच थी उन्होंने भी बताया है, और खासतौर से सामने आया है निकल के उनके जैसे मोहम्मद से संपर्क के जैसे मोहम्मद के पोस्टर लगाने के जम्मू कश्मीर उनके अंदर उनके ऊपर आरोप लगाए गए थे, जिसके बाद उनको यहाँ से गिरफ्तार।
Okay, thank you for that, Gaurav, Swarali, Soumya, Rakshita and Shambhavi. Thank you for joining us. That's all the time that we had. Shravan, Abhishek, Rhythm and I on this special broadcast 10-11 The Conspiracy. On that note, we will say goodbye to you. The debate with Arnab, big debate at 8 p.m. In fact, more than a debate, Arnab is narrating the conspiracy part by part. Special broadcast tonight. And I think at 7:30 we have a special, and Shravan will leave you with what you can expect in just a few minutes.
Well, for the first time, full access to what's really happening at the western border, the biggest military exercise being carried out by our tri-services.